master the basics. Last two picks, they're still lacking a jungler and an XP laner.
Yeah, there's the Nolan. If ever
Nolan.
they want to go for that. The
Haya.
Hayabusa too, but although it has been nerfed to some point, unless they do want to show us something unique, like a throwback to the Akai.
No, maybe because again a huge buff. Even the cooldowns of the ultimate cut down to half, but there it is. There's the tanky XP laner.
Oh no!
Okay. It's not a tanky XP later.
It's a tanky jungler.
We're throwing it back.
Oh!
We're throwing it back.
If you have surprises, Tlph ensures that we also have one. Debuting the Benedetta up against Edward.
Just when we thought we had already enough surprises with AP Brent's draft yesterday, we head into day number 2 with more surprises heading our way.
You can safely say that our star match so far hasn't disappointed us because drafts, a lot of new picks, unconventional picks for both of the undefeated teams. And we're going to head on and look at the index, the draft index. It looks like it's leaning towards the side of Aurora MLBB.
Yep, in terms of damage distribution, somewhat they were able to ensure that these damage dealers would have the tanky front that's necessary for them to operate, and at the same time the mobility isn't entirely compromised because they have the Mathilda, which is a common pair up with the Barretts too. But for Team Liquid Philippines, this is an all-out damage lineup too. They really would want to go for the brawls. So let's see how they're able to pull that off with this immense amount of burst damage they already have in their hands.
Two remaining undefeated teams will duke it out in the land of Dawn. One will remain with a clean record. It's Tlph and Aurora, our star match for this week.
Okay, looking at this too. So at least for Tlph's lineup, of course, with the high-low, so they get a little extra sustain with that Revitalize on their side. Some of these fights too, if Aurora isn't able to go ahead and burst someone down, again, they play around the mobility that they have in the lineup. This is also a lineup that's going to take a little bit longer to kind of activate, especially having UA on the Sicilian here.
I know, Naisu, you've been using Gord a lot. What can you say about the Farsa being back in the meta again with the recent buff? Especially it's paired up with a very aggressive JP Hylos.
Yeah,
I think it's good. I don't know. I'm a proponent of. I wish the mid lane had more options. You know, like, and I don't even mean just the Gord, man. Like, I'm just like in general. I wish it wasn't always, you know, these Farsas, Sicilians, and what else? The Valentina right now.
Yeah.
I wish there was a little more leeway and some breathing room for some of the other heroes to pop up, but that's just the way it is.
Okay, but Aurora is saying just one at a time. They debuted another jungler. It's going to be the Barretts on the side of Demon Kite. So we're going or slightly leading back towards those utility types of junglers, with Carl TZ even having the alpha. But again, I do have to agree with Brigida. The mobility that can come from Aurora, especially Demon Kite's ultimate paired up with a certain Eagle. Tlph really has to watch out for those potential catches.
Yeah, fortunately for them individually, they also have multiple ways to dance around these attempts.
Oh.
But hold on.
Wow, JP taking a ton of damage already. He's still going to pop the Revitalize. He's going to be fine. Edward goes down to the first blood, though. The sweep in with the Daytona's welcome. They'll find the stun, but there's the Spear of Alpha. They'll find Demon Kite. And now going to push them off the first turtle of the game. Tlph dominates the fight, dominates the objective.
It looks like Tlph really learned a lot from their series yesterday.
Yep.
By this time, securing the objective over Aurora, at the same time getting kills and not giving Aurora any trade. And now they're back in controlling the center of the map as we head on to a very quick break. That was an aggressive start for the side of the Los Caballeros.
Yeah, that was the first brawl we've seen happen, and at the same time, what we were really expecting from them, given the amount of damage they can potentially dish out in the early stages of the game. I mean, that's a Farsa and Hylos, who is on the Revitalize. So as opposed to Aurora, he can potentially tank up more damage and then just sustain himself a little longer just when we think he's about to get taken out. So it was a lot of time provided to Team Liquid Philippines to actually plan the way they will be executing that particular team fight. And you can recall the way they were able to just isolate Edward. That's probably one of the biggest dangers of this lineup. Aurora has to really be synced in terms of the way they pull off the fights, because Team Liquid Philippines, they can just keep repeating this process and it will really become a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, especially if TLPH, their snowball, starts early on again. We have yet to see what kind of Benedetta will Sanford be going with. Will he go for the sustain or maybe even the damage type of Sanford? But this ensures that when Sanford can go for the backline at any given moment, Aurora's, the Sicilians, the Harrods that you'd think Aurora will be kept, handled defensively. Sanford just going to be able to go for the back.
I believe he will be going for the damage build based on the emblems that he did pick up and that early Fury Hammer too, which is common, but the emblem spell that he is planning to go for that damage Benedetta, which adds up to the problems of Aurora. You only have a single Guiding Wind, so you'd have to be really careful as to who you're going to provide that with, because if you leave a certain member in the back lines, then Sanford might just be on the hunt for him every now and then. And
that's part of it too, because like even if he goes even hybrid or just pure, let's say he does go pure damage, it's mainly using that Electro Blow to cut them off, and then you have a Hylos too. So we've been constantly talking about Aurora's mobility options, especially with the Matilda, but if you have so many options to kind of cut off the escape routes, then how often can you escape from that? Renegade. Just take a couple shots with the Feathered Airstrike, but he's fine.
Okay, but Renegade was still able to escape the Feathered Airstrike. We're seeing a better kind of version coming in from Sanji today, because yesterday he had a bit of a trouble with the roam mid combination of TNC Phoenix Army. Now they're dominating, establishing on an early lead with 1.5k. And looking at the gold difference, actually, Dominkite's pretty much hanging there with OHEB.
Yeah, he's been managing the lanes pretty well, but as you've mentioned, Team Liquid Philippines might just be having the better map control so far, not just because of the speed that they're able to provide in terms of rotation, but also because you might be expecting a little more of how do I say this? Renegade having to be alongside either Demon Kite or Doming Kite, just to make sure that they will be able to maximize the Matilda. But now they are trying to take them on in the bottom lane.
Good response. Proactive use of the Zaman Force. I mean, they saw the pressure come down, they got the information. So it stops, that from that gank happening down in the bottom lane, because they want to just kind of slow things down. You're looking at what's happening here. Already a 2,000 gold lead for TLPH based off that early team fight around the first turtle.
Yeah, I was actually expecting a more aggressive type of TLPH, but this time they're adding a bit of a twist to how they rotate. They're a bit disciplined, and we can see Sanford actually dominating the XP lane, because Carl, TZ, and JP has been rotating top side. 1 second left before the second turtle will respawn. TLPH a while ago was able to get it. Plus 2 kills. Sanford from the back.
Sanford on that back angle already. It looks like Edward's taking a ton of damage. Has to pop the Vengeance. Revitalize does go out. Sanji gets pulled forward. But again, they just fight for the space around the turtle. And it looks like they'll be able to get it. Sanford just checking things out, but that's an objective for TLPH.
Good use of the expert missiles from Demon Kite to cancel out the Feathered Airstrike. Something to watch out for if you are Sanji, but again, you're right. TLPH, the early game power spike that you'd expect them to have, although it's not translating necessarily to kills, the lead is still ballooning up because they got 2 turtles, and Aurora still, they're lagging behind even on the laning phase.
Yep, fortunately for Aurora, the missile expert was placed really well, so they were able to cancel out the Feathered Airstrike.
Oh no, Doming Kite's in trouble, and Sanji will pick up a kill under the turret. They're still going to push them off the tier 1. As TLPH wants to go ahead and take down the first turret in the bot lane, but man, Doming Kite had nowhere to go.
Oh, OHEB and the rest of TLPH really heated right now.
Yep, OHEB is leading the ranks in terms of gold. Imagine him being consistently able to do his double laning just because Team Liquid Philippines is always at an advantage whenever there is a turtle fight. They have secured 2 turtles in a row, and aside the fact that although we did mention Doming Kite is putting up pretty well in lane, Oheb's still able to control majority of it and rotate outside of his lane. So now they've already been able to take down that turret too. So we will be expecting Team Liquid Philippines play a more aggressive mid to late stages of the game.
Okay, Domin Kaita already picks up his Thorium side. For the side of Aurora, they do have the Sicilian that when it comes to the late game can clear out the minions early on. Even if there are major adjustments towards the Lords, Aurora can just hang there with Tlph. But again, we saw what Tlph can do when they know that they can just end the game. They're going to take the discipline route again, go for the Lord objectives.
Oh.
And Aurora really needs to step it up and make sure to contest this time for a major objective.
That community prediction here. Nearly as close as it has been for a long time. 47% for Aurora, 53% for Tlph. But this game won so far, it's all been Tlph and just very disciplined on how they're approaching it.
Yep, they are Team Liquid Philippines at least are mostly ahead of their laning
JP.
matchups. JP, all right, but Sanford too, by the way, already has the Blade of Heptases. So he is probably going to go for a bit of a hybrid build, but the mere fact that he's able to spells that they're so much ahead.
Yue taking a couple of shots. They're going to force the flicker out from him all under the tier 1 of the mid lane. He'll get dragged back. Carl's gone though as Yue punishes them after burning the flicker. He'll take down the young goat.
That was a good use of the curtain call from Edward to ensure that Yue's flicker wasn't used to Vayne. Beautiful pickup this time for Aurora, and they were able also to defend their mid lane turret.
Yeah.
So far they're looking for trades.
Yep, and it's also commendable on how they were able to position themselves around the backline members or those who Team Liquid Philippines might be likely to hunt down, because then they were able to time and use that curtain call to punish that unsuccessful attempt of Team Liquid Philippines to go for the backlines, especially as they were really paying attention to these crucial members. So that's something that Team Liquid Philippines also has to take note. Aurora are very mindful of who to protect at this point.
Yeah. So now Aurora, there's still a tough hill to climb. A 4.4k gold lead for Tlph. The map bleeds red. They have almost full control over the map. In 15 seconds, the very first Lord will be respawning. But this time, I believe they can be able to contest again. The combination of the Matilda and the Barats, that could easily just go in at any given moment for the Retry steal and even go with the Daytona's welcome. So Carl TZ can't Retry. Aurora still has a good chance.
Yeah, that's the Sea Halberd also picked up by Sanford. There's also a glowing wand already from Sanji. So imagine the range and how they're able to maximize it. Oh, they go for the mid again.
Just clearing it up. They want to hold on to these tier 1s as much as possible before that Lord comes up though. But Sanford just knocking on this turret. Should be able to get it. He does get dragged with Missile Expert. Might force a response. Sanji goes in. They take a couple shots on Demon Kite, but the Lord is up. They don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that's the discipline that we want from Tlph. Just keeping them at bay, sizing up Aurora, but still not overcommitting and using a lot of resources because they know that the major objective is up for grabs. But this time, Aurora, they still have Holy Shields for their inhibitor turret down bottom. They're able to go outside of the map. And look at the position of Domin Kite in the mid-brush.
Oh, is he gonna wait? Oh, Sanford spots it though.
Sanford could be in trouble here. Zaman Force already dropped down. Sanford should be able to get away. Pops will elect the final blow to escape, and Carl won't land the Spear of Alpha. So they take a couple shots on Domin Kite. The Lord resets, but now Tlph could go ahead and start this one up.
Yeah, it was a way for Tlph to make sure all the brushes are accounted for. Make Aurora out of position this time. But again, the factor is Demon Kite has a Barats. It's tanky enough to go head-to-head up against Alpha, paired up with the Matilda. We might see an early Lord engage. Lord dance. Sanji goes in with Feather Airstrike.
Feather Airstrike dropped down. There's a circling EO2. They get the Zaman Force out. They're looking for Carl, and they'll find him as he falls, and JP to follow through. They still try to survive, but Domin Kite will go down. Daytona's welcome into the Lord. They'll find Sanford. Oheb and Sanji left alive.
A 3-4-1 trade. Aurora claps back immediately after the initiation of Tlph.
Yeah, just when Team Liquid Philippines probably thought that they were already in a really great position, Sanji decides to pop the heathered airstrike. Aurora responds with a big no. They just fly towards their target.
Oh, they're going to go for Oheb, and Oheb can't survive the pressure as he goes down, and Yue to follow from Sanji and Edward. Might be caught in the glorious pathway, does jump on out of the way, and Sanji's still going to be alive, but there's no follow-through to find Edward.
The back and forth blows of these two teams. I mean, Renegade and Dominkite circling Eagle onto the mid lane to bring down one, and Sanji for the insurance went to the back, brings down Yue, draws his first kill onto the mid laner of Aurora, and now the lead that Tlph had with 5 gates down to 2.5, and they haven't still gotten the Lord 11 minutes in, so Aurora, their defense is working.
This is Aurora living up to our expectations of just waiting for their timings and deciding to fight when they know that they're online. And now that they know they are not afraid to fly towards key targets. Earlier it was Tlph, and now it might be him once again.
They got the information. Sanford was up top. He's going to make his way as fast as he can for this Lord. Sits at half. There's the flicker forward, circling EU on the backside. They're going to crash down on Oheb. Renegade's gone though, and Oheb's still alive as he's able to find Edward. And now the Lord's going to go for a reset, and Tlph has the advantage for the objective. It was an effort from Aurora, but they couldn't capitalize it.
Edward and Renegade was a bit too deep. They wanted to go and zone out Tlph, but Aurora didn't have enough damage to burst down the Lord and secure it. That's why Tlph, Sanji goes in with a better airstrike.
Carl to find two with the Sphere of Alpha, and Demon Kite falls down next. It's only one left of the Kite brothers to defend until Renegade comes up. But now Tlph will take down the Tier 2.
That indeed felt like a different outcome despite the exact same approach that Aurora did. They just decided to lock onto a target, but the other members weren't able to catch up.
Oh, okay. Sanji zoning out again. Aurora, they have a siege minion then. They might go for the inhibitor turret as OM just really poking up. Look at the rage coming in from Tlph. Lord sieging in onto the bottom lane. They're making quick work of all the inhibitor turrets 1 second before Demon Kite arrives. And Tlph will disengage with what they wanted. All inhibitors taken down by Tlph.
12 minutes in, and they were able to just be so clean in terms of execution. Team Liquid Philippines, fortunately, they were able to find a workaround with the way Aurora wants to head into every single team fight. Now looking at the items which are secured by these members, Oheb already has completed his item build. Also went for a War Axe as his last item. So you know he's really looking for or wanting to serve as the damage here for Team Liquid Philippines. They will not allow the same turnabout of events to happen later on. But if there was one thing that they really need to be mindful of, Aurora Gaming at this point already has the damage too, and even their XP laner could be a potential target, although he has the Athena's shield. So positioning is very important for Team Liquid Philippines prior to the next objective.
Yeah, and you can already feel the damage from the items of Oheb as they TP with their new recall and emotes. It's a nice sight to see for Tlph. And that's the thing, because Aurora, we know they're consistent in terms of how they play. Tlph, I could say they're inconsistent when it comes to what they're gonna show out, because yesterday we weren't sure if they're that dominant. This time they're disciplined enough and at the same time crazy enough to go for those engages that even though you thought that the fight was over, Sanji's literally just gonna go wings by wings and go in right away and engage again.
And that's the reason why Sanji is literally at the top. He's so far ahead in terms of damage dealt in this game because of how aggressive he's been on the far side. He's one of the players that, you know, you can think of past seasons even, and Sanji plays the Farsa like this. And, you know, sometimes it is just to put that pressure where it might be a preemptive feathered airstrike, or maybe he flickers forward to get that pressure then, because he already knows the rest of Tlph is going to follow through on that. And so he's able to just pop up. Now he gets the Divine Glaive.
Yes.
Look how fast this Lord's going.
Yeah, and also the Lightning Truncheon, so if you group up, you won't like it!
Edward, you can't survive that kind of burst! And again, as he locked in the Divine Glaive, he'll take out Edward, even with the Vengeance. Now Sanford takes some of the distraction over from Aurora, but that's Lord secured for Tlph.
A good response from Tlph ensures that Aurora won't have a single trade. 4 members preoccupied with the Lord, all the while Sanford solo gaming at the top lane, making sure that Aurora is preoccupied with the wave management of how the minions, or the enhanced minions of Tlph are pushing in. Again, second Lord marching in onto the middle lane. Aurora has the damage, but Tlph, they both have sustain and damage as well. This defense might be key in extending the game for Aurora.
Yep, Demon Kite has a huge responsibility of tanking and sustaining all the damage that can potentially come in from Team Liquid. So let's see how they hold out.
Pressure's already going to be dropped down. Red and Jay is gone in an instant, and now they have to force the fight in all 4, but Sanford goes down, but the base is being worked on, and Oheb will finish it off. Game 1 goes to Tlph.
Tlph with a fast, decisive, and dominant win over Aurora Gaming. Yesterday, the average game time was around 20 minutes, and this time Tlph, they're bringing back the Express.